Welcome to Pasifika Narratives, a series produced by the Pacific Islander Community Association of Washington to highlight the resilience and cultural brilliance of Pasifika peoples here in the Pacific Northwest during COVID and beyond. We come from many nations in Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia, and we have been in these parts for about 200 years. We continue to lift up the traditional stewards of these lands as we work to establish cultural home, center community power, and advance the wellness of Pasifika people here in the U.S. diaspora. Our voice is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation.
Is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation.
Si e ta whanonga I mamani ko e toa wha o e mamahi si o ki mua ki he kolosi ko si suka lai si e ta whanonga I mamani ko e toa wha o e mamahi si o ki mua ki he kolosi ko si suka lai si o kui ai hako lo funga ni tu utai kua te ue he tau tama ai ko ia e tu I tene lava ki ai ono fo mo e tama o ku unu mai a aho pehe ke hoko ka ku o tama wa e tu ku I he no fota ai mi e hu o mau a e pale o ku unu mai a aho pehe ke hoko ka ku o tama wa e tu ku I he no fota ai mi e hu o mau a e pale o kui ai hako lo funga ni tu tai kua te ue he tau tama ai ko ia e tu I tene lava ki ai ono fo mo e tama I o kui ai hako lo funga ni tu tai kua te ue he tau tama ai ko ia e tu I tene lava ki ai ono fo mo e tama.
Hiki hake homonga hile o tala
Whakaha
To o mai ae matapa ki a te au ke fufulu e kuhia I he vai ola ke maahine hina I hota ke umau ai pale kola to o mai ai matapa ki a te au ke fufulu e
ua te mauta foki.
Koko e hia matea e tamai e ke oa te ke fufu au i e ngahi tanuanga o e kuia
E whale o isileli o wa te mauta foki.
Koko e hia matea e tamai e ke oa te ke fufu au i he ngahi tanuanga o e kuhia.
Si supe, te uia i te uia. Si supe, te uia i te uia. E hoku kaunga wholau he o se ni o e whaingata a ko taimi o kua alu maupe. E hoku kaunga wholau he o se ni o e whaingata a ko taimi o kua alu maupe. Sisu e koko e pe, sisu e koko e pe, tuku keu hufanga atu sianga hilau mali e sianga hilau mali e sinomo e atama. Kahili e tau no fo i mama ni ke tahu atu ki he lotola ni ono fo i he mua talo ni he alo fio e tama. Kahili e tau no fo i mama ni ke tahu atu ki he lotola ni ono fo i he mua talo ni he alo fio e tama. Sisu e koko e pe, sisu e koko e pe, tuku ke hufanga atu sianga hilau mali e sianga hilau mali e sinomo e atama. Sisu e koko e pe, sisu e koko e pe, tuku ke hufanga atu sianga hilau mali e sianga hilau mali e sinomo e atama.
Ko pingoa ko sina aloi tāwhuna tui vai pēka ko hau me la paha mua tonga tapu. Maulele mai ki Amerikane mo family i he taha e November tahiwa wau noa. Ke toi ai ha state te mau hiki ki ai ne talo pe mau mua mai he tahi wau noa o nofo ai pe se atone. Pēka o Mari muri pe mo ki whanau toko tolu i mo puna e ua. pia o ko au na ta retire me he ngawe I he pon ngawe ako I he tau e wanima pia o retire I he o se tau e ua pia ko kaunga ta mai ke na whakalele e polo kalama ke kau tau lekeleka I si atoni o kumau inga pito I ka au na whiwhiri pe koe ha toenga ngā ue te whai I he toenga e kumui pia ko whiwhiri pe e ngā ue tatau pe ko hono o toko nia e kau maulalo ai ko ngā ue koe tonga ko nia e kau hange tau I whakatonga koe kau tono no pia ko hau pe o le volo I he ngā ue o toko nia ai si kau tau lekeleka ki o hi ke nau whiwhia nau mo ui I he toenga nau mo ui. Ko lota ke mahe atu ai mahu inga, koe mahu inga tau nofa whaka ai lani, koe ki ngata pe ki he Tonga, Hamoa, Marshally, ko whahinga matakari pe, e oku tau sa ia ke kuku pe ho tau ai maha pe koe mahaki, pe koe hawhainga mea o tau mak, ho tau sino, o kai ki tau share. Pea koe mea ia tene hanga o toi o mai ai whainga tā ia ki o tau mo ui tau te whito ki he lere koni ke mahaki koni ai pandemic koe COVID-19 o tau whe amo ia o mahu inga o pito ke tau whe o ngoi mo whanongo ki he tūtu uni kua tuku mai ke awe tau tolu o huhu ko hia ke koe kawe pia koe whakatau ke loloa e tau mo ui ki o te tau poke.
What is a hopeful message that you want to give to our Tongan folks?
My hope for Tongans that if you don't have love and happy inside you, I believe that you cannot share. You cannot live healthy. You cannot listen to each other. It's very important that we have that inside us. We have our culture, it's very important. And then we also have to listen to what's directed by the outside during COVID-19 for us to be able to live longer and stay healthy. Koe o mahu inga pito koe tau nofo koe ni ki tau whiongongoi ka pauhika ki ia tau tore o wha mo whetongoni aki whainga taa ke tau whanongo ki he utala tutu uni o mai ka tau tolu ke tau mo ifu loa hange koni ko tau maha ki whakaauha koni o tau whea mo ia mahu inga pito ke tau mui mui pia mo awe ki tau tolu ke tau whanga e huhu koni o tuku mai ulaki mai ua ko ia pe koe tau kawe pepe mo ilere. Ko ia ko lota ke se atu ko ia ko anga ko ngoi au ko au ko Tonga na tupa ke Tonga pa mo ui ko Tonga pa te mahalo pe ko ka malolo me he maman ko ni ko Tonga pe au ka ko mari muri fa na o muri pau ke mui ki nga hilau ko to ni ko to ko mai I muri ni ko amerikani ko ia pe ko no for five family mo no for a malo.
Malo Lele, my name is Atleta Makasini. I am Tongan and 19 years old. Both my parents are from the island of Tonga, and we currently live here in Washington, SeaTac. I work here at PICAWA as a Pasifika wayfinder, and what we technically do here is we're trying to build a platform and a safe place where youth are able, or NHPI youth is able to come and talk about things that they're not used to talking about with our elders or at home. This is like our goal is to make sure that our youth voices are heard and that they're respected, and that what they say we take into consideration and we try and take actions towards that. So that's what I do here with my coworkers. So as a modern day wayfinder, it's very different, right? So technically we're not really on the ocean navigating and stuff, but here we're actually trying to find a way through life, like through this modern day. So right now it's harder for our elders, especially our elders, to what is the word? Is to like get used to living American daily lives, you know. And technically, like the wayfinders, our job is to make sure that we find a way for our youth to like lead towards the way that that we're trying to, like, you know, basically we're all trying to succeed here. But it's like, it's way much harder that we're at NHPI and we don't have those resources. We don't have those communications. We don't have people to talk to. So this area right here, it's one of the main source that they could come to. And it's a place that they don't have to hesitate to ask, and they don't have to feel embarrassed because we're all from the same background. So success for me is to be able to stay stable as my own person and to stay stable for my family. My mom always told us, Tongan is to like pay attention to your education, because we know that here it's very sexist. Men are easily able to get jobs and stuff, whereas for women, it's all about the brains. So you need to think and you need to use what you have when you can apply to your job and stuff. So like technically, like success for us is to make sure we stand strong through our education, being able to support us, like us as in yourself and your family, and also be able to take care of our parents, because that's something that's very important to us, is to take care of our elders and to make sure that we can bring something back. It's not only for ourselves, we're like very selfless. Selfless. We're always trying to look out for our elders. And sometimes people see it as a burden, but if you really understand the purpose and the sacrifices that they did in the past for you, then you would know that that's not really a burden. It's something that you should hold up to. It's like an expectation. COVID impacted the Tongan community very hard because Tongan, we're very religious. So it's like we always have youth programs, we always have choir practices, we always have church Sundays. Specifically for mine, we have it Thursdays too. But since COVID hit, it was like, it seemed like the Tongans weren't able to build their faith. That's what kind of understanding they had, is that they thought that they could only build their faith at church. So it was just like, I think that was a new obstacle that we had to overcome, because we had to learn how to keep our faith strong, like, and how to apply church at home. So that was something that we had to do, is to make sure that churches, families, all of us could like figure out all this technology stuff too. So it was just a lot of learning in the process. But as soon as we overcame that, it was unstoppable. We were able to do everything we needed to do. I'm gonna speak specifically for my church, because I don't really like know the other churches' situation. But as for our youth is very small, but we are very strong. We're also known as like the youth who comes all out, who knows how to sing, who knows how to do skits. Like, we always have this conference where each church from every state comes to California, and we come out with songs and we come out with skits to like, that does like a lot of to show other churches. But when COVID hit, our youth wasn't able to like run choir practice or run our youth stuff. Like, it was just very hard for us. And in our church, we usually speak the Tongan language, and that's where we usually like learn our Tongan language as well, and like learn the cultural stuff. So like when we had church technically like taken away from us, it was just like we didn't know who to turn to. Like, usually we turn to our parents, of course, everything starts from home, but it's just like church was also that other branch that we could reach out to. So having church, having COVID hit our church and stuff, hit the whole community, it was just hard for us to like learn more about our culture. So when we first started the food distribution down in King County, at first I didn't think much of it. I just thought like, oh, we're just gonna go pack some boxes, throw it in people's trunks, that's it. But when we got there, learning the purpose of why we do it and who we're doing it for, it was just a big eye-opener. Like, we me and my sister, we actually took the time to go home and talk about like, wow, so many families got hit by COVID. Like we didn't think that this many families needed this much food. We didn't think that like people were actually depending on this, because every time when we first started, we had regulars. So there is people like, oh, so what time next week? Or what time are we doing it next month? Like they were always looking towards the future. And it was just so like, I don't know, I was just very surprised, because it was just like, I didn't think much of it. You know, I was just like, oh, COVID, like everybody's just gonna have to stay home. But I didn't think about like the families. I didn't think about their jobs. I didn't think about their schools, who's gonna watch their kids. I didn't think about any of that. And especially the food on their tables and in their fridge. It was just very speechless, just seeing the same regular people come over and just like ask for food. And something that like very stuck out to me is that even though our goal is to help the Pasifika people, we also had people who weren't Pacific Islander. And like, it was just, for me, it was heartwarming, because it's like, we're also helping ours, but we're also helping other communities as well. So it's just, that's something that very like impacted me.
Ogu hingoa ko Paula tu halfatai tu ifua. Pea malo lele tau mawe. Whangmari koe ni ke whaia potano atu. Neu tupuha ke heongo mātua I la paha pe. Koe tangatai ki ko tarola ke patu ifua. Moe whine ki ko lasini kapa hefa. Ne hoko ha whatamaki o maloloi e ku whae I maas taiwa nima. Ko hoku tau nima ia. Nima toko nima. Ko awa e PICA-WA ki e laitaha. Pene toe mari e mau tamai. Pe mo e whiwhine ko siulolo. O iai e na whanau e toko tata. O lau whakataha. Ko e whanau mau tolo e toko taha ono. Pea uhu ako. Ni wako e ako si ia e katolika I lapa, St. Paul. O mana koe hi wakle korio. Ne uhu ki he korisi a pōu I maufanga, Taiwana tolu. Pea ne uhu kawai I he waia e korisi. Koe whaihiwa e taimi koe niko, koe puna ke whauhiwa I loko ia o Tonga, ko sofere kakala. Ne utoe hufoki hiri ku ako I e korisi a pōu, pea u alua ki he api ako korisi whawhai ako taiwa whitua. Pea ne u kawai I he kulupu hiwa, no wahe whaka kulupu e kawhai ako ai, o kawa o he kulupu hiwa. Pea u miai, pea u kamata whai ako I he ako e pureanga taiwa whitwha. O mawai whaingmari ki wako hiwa I e ngā hiwa e korisi. Ai whanau ako. Pea u whawhisi he whai ako, me he tahiwa wharutolu, tūta mai a ki sia toni taiwa wha. Pea tahiwa wha arewa, ni u toe hoko at pea he whaihiwa he mau komnio. Tonga toko ni ki a whaone. Hefa. Pea I he ngahi au ni oku si ilo ke tunga whasi whakatonga, pea ko whakam ke osiange ai whaingamari koe ni ku maalok taun ke ako no whakam ke whaihaki tiu ki he whanau ai ngawe ke nota he ku makehe ai mautol tonga ngawe ke mataifika I he mauhiwa whangatuka whasi. Pea koe ko whakam pe lava. Koe matanga pe ai ki whamatala, ko mau, ko taimpe ke pāsi ato e tōsi ki a taha ku keimalo, ko au ku mutu ai tau.
Malo lelei ho ik mekainga. My name is Vaeomatoka Kenneth Liwerivalu. I work for PICAWA and I handle the communications. I also oversee Pasifika Arts development and the programming that goes along with it. So I was born in the Kingdom of Tonga, and I was born and raised in Lapaha, which is a town in the eastern district of the main island, Tongatapu. I moved out here with my late mother in 1997, and I attended Kent Junior High. After that, I went to Kent Meridian High School, and from there, my mother and I were still undocumented at the time. But we did have faith, especially because my mom handled a lot of getting our papers done. We finally got our green card in 2003, and from there, I went to the University of Washington. I'm glazing over a lot of details, but through there, I really kind of honed my craft as far as the arts is concerned. And I kind of made a name for myself on the University of Washington campus, particularly in the arts. But I was also involved in student outreach, and from there I left UW and actually worked for the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity at UW for about 10 years. And all the while I was still very much connected to community, particularly the Tongan Catholic community of Seattle, where a lot of my cultural practices were still very strong, and that's where I really grounded myself. And through all that, my connection with the PICAWA was very organic. I did start off by developing the logo, and from there, my engagement was to be part of the board. But given the particular gifts that I have, I think my involvement grew to be a bit more outside of what a board member was doing. So I transitioned to being part of the staff here at PICAWA last November during the pandemic. So PICAWA's mission is to provide a cultural home that centers community power and develops political voice for our communities, but also to further the wellness of our Pasifika communities right here in the Northwest and throughout the country as well. The way that looks like right now is that PICAWA has several bodies of work, particularly around the COVID-19 pandemic. And so that includes social supports for our communities around rental assistance, funeral relief funds. There's also our food distributions for a lot of our families who are experiencing heightened food insecurity. But we also have other parts of our mission that we are also exploring, and at least very much moving forward with around the Pasifika Arts, which is where my particular role really coincides with. Art is very much a part of who we are as Pacific people. It helps lend a particular type of beauty that creates enthusiasm, which in Tonga I think it's called mawhana, and there's maria. There's a particular type of harmony that comes with that, and that's where my skills really fall in line with PICAWA's mission, is really supporting the development of the arts. There are many creatives in our communities here in the Northwest. My role here is really to listen to what the community is doing, what exactly a lot of our creatives are up to, and hopefully steward some resources to make sure that what's already going on is being supported and also uplifted. We definitely want to uplift the awesome work that a lot of our Pasifika creatives are doing in the Northwest especially. I think I took being Tongan for granted when I was growing up in the islands, and it wasn't until I came here where it was very much ripped from me, right? I was surrounded by Tonga, I was surrounded by the people of Tonga, I was surrounded by the music, everything sensory about what Tonga is in the island. None of that was replicated here when I first got here. So immediately I felt this really longing to go back and connect with that, and I found that in my faith community. The Tongan Catholic community of Seattle is very much where a lot of that still lives, and it's where we teach our young ones dance, music. It's all done in Tongan, and well, because they're surrounded by America already, and so they get enough English, they get enough of everything else there. I think it's valuable to hold some space for who we are, particularly with spaces like where I found that community for myself. And so I'm very proud of who I am. I realize I have a great amount of knowledge, being that I was born and raised in the island, but there's also a lot that I don't know, and I think that's the continuing part of my journey, is continuing to lean into what I don't know and really bringing forth what I do know to make sure that there's others who learn, but also being open to make sure that I'm constantly learning as well. So I'm really proud of where I am at. And I'm very thankful that PICAWA has really made that space available for a lot of our communities, not just my Tongan community, but for a lot of our other Pasifika siblings.
Nā ko hao ki Amerika ni, ko mai o kume ha whainga mālie, nā mautupa ke I Tonga, I ngai mo ui whainga taa. It's also like called hardship life. Pea ko tangata e ki nei whalau tohi. Pea ko mai ki he ni, ke kume ha whainga mālie ke hoko atu ai tō koni ke whamili. Pea nā mahanga tono mai pe me Tonga, o a mai ki December o tahi wa whituhiwa ki Seattle, Washington. Nei he nea hoko tuanga ane lahi. Pea hokat ke tahiwa waltaha, nā ko alurewa ke korisi. Pea ose tahiwa waltaha, nei kai ke osi e kua koia aku. Nā ko toki osi, me he korisi I he wāwhetataha. After 30 years of having kids, and then I decided to went back to college, and I finally finished. Ko ngāwe kai taimini, ko e ulaki ngāwe nā ko whai e kua umai ki Setoloni, ko e ngāwe ko e tauhi vai, te ko e angaia mau nofo whaka whonua, o ku mau hoko pe ko nofo ko e whamiri, mau nofo whaka community, o whetoko ni aki I ngai mea kotoa pe, o mau lava ke mau tokoni ai. Ko e aia koe mau leti o koe no whalele I he taimini, koe leti o mai televisione I he ata. Pea ku lava ke connect whakamaman lahi. Ke lava ke whetutaki, ai tonga e tuli ke whae kolope, pa ku lava ke mau whetutaki I he ngai whonga o ata. Whamole pe o koe kai koe toke tāu, ka te wahe pe aki pe e ku ki experience pe. O lahi au pito pe ai ngahi whakoutua koe he mau nofo whaka community, hange koe nofo whakatonga. Koe aneafi pe, te uto'o pe ai lea ai toke tāna ne pehe. Koe ngā koe mea toko ni, o kune mau ilahi ai sino o I tangata pe sete walunoa. O lawai pe koe hoko koe hange koe suka, koe diabetic, hange koe ngahi ta whaakeke. Koe ia ko whamanata pe kai ngā tonga, o mahu I ngā pito pe ke tau mui ke ngai tūtuon mo talanga fua ki ai. Ko I ngā whainga tā e taimi o kumole e tau ngahi o whaanga. Ko I ngā oku whiema o ke tau talanga fua ke ngai tūtuoni. Nofo pe o tauhi a wahe ke fute ono, tui ho ngai mea malui. Pea mo ngahi nofo whakatokolahi ke whasi I pe ko I tau talanga fua ke hawhi kina whaki tau tolu I he tau nofo whatonga I community. Ko ia ai o ko toi whamanatu atu pe, ai mahu inga ko ia ke mao e toko tāko tau pe ai whaitoo, ai a koe huhu. Mō ngāwe aki a ngai huhu, ko I ngā kono malu ia koe, I kai pe ke ngata I he ahoni, ka ki he kaha ufoki. Ko ia ai ka mo whetutaki lewa, o ku lava pe ke mo whetutaki mai lewa ki he PICA-WA, ai a koe Pacific Islands Community of Washington. Ai a koe ai, ko tau ulunganga pe whakatonga, koe kakai mo ui whiawhia au pito. Pea koe ai, mo nofo pa mo ui whiawhia, nge koe lea koe toi tā nea whi. Family support, mo whakataha whamili, whaiha mo ki whamili, pa mo lotu, tā I pea ngai whaiwhasi api. Hape mea koe e mao ai ho whiawhia. Peko whiawhia I he eki, ko whiawhia po ha mea ka aku whamanatu atu, mo ui whiawhia, and stress-free, o ai tuku hangai mea ke pupu tuu pa ne holoki ai ho mo ui ki lalo. He koe tau mo ui ni o si pe ai taimi e tau whanonga anga me taimi ki tāneti. Ko ia whiawhia mau pe, ko I ngā koe whiawhia, o kune tau wha mo ui au sino. Koe mo ui a tonga, tau fe ofa aki, fe vahe aki, fe kau aki, pea koe mo ui pea ai Tonga. That's why I'm so proud to be the Tongan for life, because you reach out, you make someone happy, what goes around, it comes around. You make someone happy, it's gonna make you happy. Yeah.
Fia he kaweinga Tapuange moe haue whonua Pea tapu moe tu I whaleua Moi ngahi haa he katoanga Ke tau fia he kaweinga Inga he